On today's Locked On NBA Game Night, the Rockets lost their most valuable player in Fred VanVleet. What does that mean for their season? I'll tell you on today's Locked On NBA Game Night.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night, tipping off now.
And welcome. You're Locked On NBA Game Night. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network going. Thank you for helping us get that to that point. Your team every day here at Locked On. Thanks for being every day or making Locked On NBA your first listen. And joining me, as always, for the great Locked On Bucks show. What'd you see in the NBA tonight, Camille Davis?
Sadness because we can't turn injuries off. We're not even in the season yet. And injuries, man, they suck.
Not even started yet. Not even to training camps yet. And we're still...
Not even media day.
We're just dealing with it. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. We're going to talk about Fred VanVleet. We'll talk about who needs to step up for Fred VanVleet in his absence. We'll talk about what it means for the Rockets. We'll talk about who fills out the lineup now. We'll also play Count It Up, where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA, including Trae Young and Patrick Beverley, the feud we didn't know we needed that came out of nowhere. We'll talk about that. But let's start here, Camille. According to Shams Charania, Fred VanVleet, and it just came out of nowhere. It was just like, hey, this happened. Boom. All of a sudden, like, it just dropped. Houston Rockets' Fred VanVleet has suffered a torn ACL, sources tell ESPN, a devastating potential season-ending loss for the Rockets, their starting point guard and leader. Fred VanVleet was the starting guard for the Rockets last season when they had their really good season, and they were number 2 in the West. He was on that Raptors team that went to the NBA Finals and won.
I know that team.
He is a 6-foot guard, 32 years old in February. He's not coming back this season.
They keep saying like possibly
potential
coming back
season ending. Man, like his season is done this season. And to me, the Rockets lost their most valuable player. Kevin Durant is their best player. Thompson is probably their most important player. Like going forward for the next couple of years, Şengün may be their like best player on some nights for sure. But Fred VanVleet was their most important player, their most valuable player, their MVP, because you lose him. And now all of a sudden, the questions that are being asked right now, all the people that are talking about the Rockets and trying to figure out who steps up, what do they do now, what's going on? Fred VanVleet was that important for them because all of a sudden they lose him and it's, let's go Reed Sheppard. Let's go Aaron Holiday. Let's try and pick somebody up. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. They don't even really have options to do that even. They have to just look, the answer has to be from inside the house, right? The call needs to be collect from inside the house in some way. They're losing a lot with Fred VanVleet.
They are. And it's sad too. He just signed the extension in June. And when they signed it, both sides were really sitting here like, this is a partnership that we think is going to extend even past these 2 years. To your point of him being such an important piece of what they were doing. He was a leader. Like I heard on Locked On Rockets recently. He was a mailbag episode and Jackson was asked if each Houston Rocket had to be an Avenger. Who would be who? And VanVleet was the Captain America, he said, of the Houston Rockets, like that. The leader, the really guy you can count on, the solid guy, the leadership, has that championship pedigree. He is somebody who was second on the team in 3-point attempts. And we know that 3-point shooting for the Rockets has been a point of conversation, that half-court offense, which is why KD coming, a big positive. You add a killer in the half-court there, but you're also sending out Jalen Green and Dillon Brooks. Jalen Green was the guy who led you in 3-point attempts last year, and Dillon Brooks was probably your best 3-point shooter last year. So now with the VanVleet injury, with Green gone, with Brooks gone, like KD is going to be able to replace some of that shooting aspect of it, the 3-point shooting, but like they're going to be in dire need of even more of that going forward, in addition to the playmaking, in addition to everything else that he brings to the table. That's a big blow for Houston.
Speaking of Jackson Gatlin, let's hear his thoughts. He's got a few about this Fred VanVleet injury and what it means for the Rockets.
The Rockets starting point guard Fred VanVleet suffers a possibly season-ending ACL injury.
I mean, he's just reporting the news. But can we just say what it is?
A players-only retreat 1 week ahead of NBA training camp. What's up? This is Jackson Gatlin, host of Locked On Rockets, and this is absolutely devastating news for a Houston Rockets team that certainly had championship aspirations this season. Are they still contenders without Fred VanVleet? They're on the precipice. It certainly looks a lot murkier for a team that already had a questionable amount of guard depth. Suddenly there is a ton of pressure placed on third-year guard Thompson and just second-year guard Reed Sheppard, who really wasn't impactful at all as a rookie, as well as journeyman Aaron Holiday, to be able to try and hold down the fort in Fred VanVleet's absence. And unfortunately for this Rockets team, they don't really have any viable avenue to be able to try and find a replacement for Fred VanVleet. They could apply for a disabled player exception, which comes back at about half the value of Fred VanVleet's contract, so $12.5 million. That sounds great on paper, but they are pressed right up against the first apron, and they don't even have enough money left before the first apron penalty to be able to sign a vet minimum guy, let alone signing a guy that's worth up to $12.5 million. Even though they have the extra roster spot, they literally do not have the financial flexibility without sending some money out somehow and not receiving any money back in order to add another player to this core. So the Rockets are in this position where they're going to have to heavily rely on a young backcourt of Reed Sheppard and Thompson for a majority, if not possibly all of the season and a possible postseason run in the absence of Fred VanVleet. Significant ramifications for the Rockets and the rest of the Western Conference. More over at Locked On Rockets.
Go check out Locked On Rockets with Jackson and commiserate with him, because, man, this is an injury that is tough. And he mentioned it. Bobby Marks tweeted this earlier. Barring a trade, Houston cannot fill their open roster spot with a free agent. They are 1.25 below the first apron, and so they can't sign anybody with that space. They're allowed to file for a disabled player exception. Bobby Marks had filed at $14.1 million. I saw Keith Smith say that the 12.5 number that Jackson said.
So I think it's half of the salary of the player.
Yeah, but they can't use it because of the apron. Like they're hard capped at that. And so, man, they are just stuck, and like it has to come from inside the house. So if you're looking around, I think the answer is that the one who has to step up the most, if that's the question we're asking first, it's Thompson. He's the one that has to step up. The ball handling has to be better. He's got to take more of a playmaking role. He's even listed in Spotrac as a point guard. I don't think he is. I don't know that he is necessarily, but that's his spot now. I don't think they're going to start like Reed Sheppard. It'll probably be Thompson. They'll probably throw Tari Eason there in his spot, or if Jabari Smith wasn't going to start, throw him in there and go bigger and go with more wings. But it is Thompson's role to try and I don't know, save the offense or set up the offense or in some way just replace those guard minutes.
No, I think you're right about Thompson being that guy who gets that playing time initially. Like, I think going into this season with Jalen Green being gone, Thompson was drafted as a point guard. Like, it's a guard. So
true.
He didn't really have opportunity to be point guardy on this Houston Rockets team because he was behind a Jalen Green. He was even behind a Şengün who needs the ball in his hands a bit there. So, like, now you're in Fred VanVleet. Can't forget Fred VanVleet there as well as the primary point guard on the team initially while he was there. Now there's no Jalen Green, who was traded to the Suns, and now VanVleet is injured. So, like, you were already going to be in line to have the ball in your hands more prior to the VanVleet injury. Now that he is injured, like, he is thrust into the role, I think, as the starting point guard for this team. It's going to be on him to help with the playmaking. It's going to be on him. Well, already was going to be on him to also check the other team's best offensive player. So now you're adding in that playmaking and that initiation piece of it too. But Reed Sheppard, he was somebody coming into this year who was a third overall pick. Didn't play much, regardless of that high draft pick position. And now he's coming to this season where it was going to be a year already of like, okay, Reed, how have you developed? Can you continue to help this team? And now it's we need you to do this. Like, there's the room for the error is not there as much as it was before when you had VanVleet healthy.
Yeah, Reed's going to be spelled with an N this season.
Need.
That's right. We're going to need Sheppard to step up in this spot. Let's talk about him coming up. What does that mean for him? Is he being put in a impossible situation? I kind of think he is. Who else fills out the roster? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Locked On NBA Game Night continues. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Game Night is brought to you by Monarch Money. Monarch Money, for when you have too much going on. There's just too many things, too many different kinds of apps, too many different kinds of like credit cards where you're trying to get all kinds of different points. There's too many different kinds. Like, you have mortgage, maybe a savings account. You got 401k. You have a whole bunch of different things. If you're a busy person with a busy life, like a lot of us are, and if you've put off organizing your finances, don't. It's literally not worth it. You're losing money. You're losing time without using Monarch Money. They do the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes. I've done it myself. You can see clear data visuals, which I love. The flow charts show you exactly, all right, this is the categories where all your money is going. And if one of them is bigger than you think it's supposed to be, you address that one. Get smart categorization of your spending and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com. You get 50% off your first year. That's half off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNBA. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night. Listening every day, being an everyday. We have a daily Locked On show that covers your favorite team. Go check out Locked On Rockets for your second listen today. And go listen to Jackson Gatlin. He's going to have a lot more on everything. He'll have thoughts on all these players, who's going to start, who fills in, and all that. We're going to give our thoughts, though, on who steps up and fills in. We think Thompson's going to have to step up the most. Obviously, Kevin Durant and Alperen Şengün.
Yeah.
You have to step up.
Take more playmaking.
You have to take more playmaking. They're going to run the ball more through the post with Şengün. Like, I think there is a playmaking aspect that he's going to be asked to do more. Mm-hmm. More on Kevin Durant, too. Let's talk about Kevin Durant. Is Kevin Durant like, oh, no. Now I've made a mistake now. Like all of a sudden, this team is not what I thought it was.
I mean, maybe to a certain extent, because of, again, the veteran leadership that VanVleet gives you. Like, the team was a nice mix of guys in the rotation that you expected. That was a good mix between the vets and the young guys who were coming up there. And now you lost one of those vets in your lineup, so you're going to be counting on a few young guys to step up and fill that in. But like Jackson said, like, he wasn't as adamant that the Rockets would be a contender, but like, there's still a pathway forward because defense is going to be their calling card still. And they still have
the path. I can't find. I don't know if I can find the path. Okay, you start Ahmed Thompson. I guess you start Ahmed Thompson and you start Tari Eason for VanVleet. You got what do they call them coming off the bench? Didn't they have a name for
Terror
them?
Twins?
The Terror Twins coming off. Now starting. So you're starting with that group. You got Durant. You're probably starting Jabari Smith Jr. and then Şengün.
Yeah, the only other person you could throw in there is DFS. Like, do you start DFS instead of Tari?
Or go double bigs with Steven Adams like they did in the playoffs that they never did in the regular season and then only did in the playoffs.
It'd be huge. Or
if Reed Sheppard, if you need more shooting in that group, like maybe they ask him to do that and they decide, all right, we want to put more strength in that bench and have some. He's out there playing with Durant. He's out there playing with Şengün. Maybe that's better for him in his development to play with better players than it is to, all right, we're going to give you everything when you come off the bench. Because if you're bringing Reed Sheppard off the bench, all of a sudden you're putting the ball in his hands like, all right, you create. Because the other players out there with you are Steven Adams, Dorian Finney-Smith, Tari Eason. They don't create for themselves. You have to do everything now, right? Like, I think that may be an interesting angle too on this.
I wonder if they, with that being said, though, I wonder if they do actually try to stagger Reed and Amen even more this upcoming season, because it's like, we kind of want to make sure we have at least one of you on the court here to initiate that offense, just to have that guard out there. And if you go the Reed Sheppard route, you're giving up some size. Like, VanVleet was also a smaller point guard, but VanVleet, for his size, could play some defense for you. Like, he can kind of get in there. That's not the case with the Reed Sheppard here. So you are losing that. But again, this Rockets team, with the length and size that they have around him, they can try to cover up that weakness of him defensively there. And they're going to have to figure out a way around that, because he's going to be called on to play a lot more. So I do wonder, because you do need that playmaking, if you see them staggered even more this season than you would have before.
Does Reed Sheppard have the most pressure on him of any young player in the NBA right now?
He's up there, because again, he was a number 3 pick last year that didn't get a chance to play much. And now he's coming to opportunity where there is a lot of opportunity for you to play. Like, you were already going to have an increased role. Now VanVleet is gone. We're expecting, and we need you to soak up these minutes. And if we get to like December 15th, when you get some more contracts available to trade for this Rockets team, if things aren't working out, like, if Reed Sheppard's not working out, I could see him being the guy that they're actually dangling to try to find some more guard help.
I think Cooper Flagg has a lot of pressure on him with that Mavericks team, because Nico Harrison wants to win now and all that. But man, you talk about a player like an under 23 player, under 22 player who has the most pressure. Like, Man, it's hard to find somebody else besides Reed Sheppard that has as much pressure this season going into it. I think he's being put in an impossible situation.
How so?
Because he was already he's already shown, like Jackson said, he was not impactful at all. Looked over his skis last season. And now this year you're going to bring him in like, all right, we need you for a rotation spot. That was a big ask already. We've got Kevin Durant. We have these aspirations of contending right now, not just playing NBA basketball, like not just being qualified to be an NBA player, but playing playoff level basketball and playing in those big minutes and the big pressure minutes. And now it's like, all right, now not only do we need you for a rotation spot, we need you for a big rotation spot probably. It's just that's a lot on him, I think, to try and I think it's too much because I just think it's too much too soon, and there haven't been enough signs for me to say I'm really confident Reed Sheppard's going to step into this moment. He's going to step up in a big way next to Kevin Durant, next to Şengün. And there's a lot now riding on Ime Udoka's leadership because who is the leader? Who is the leader on the Rockets? I mean, Uncle Jeff coming off the bench, that's hanging out there. But
he's one of them for sure. And
but Fred VanVleet was Captain America, like you said, for reasons. You're losing that too.
Your point about is it unfair for Reed Sheppard? Reed had no impact on where he was drafted. He didn't say, "Hey, Houston, y'all should take me third in this draft," and put the expectation.
Well, we don't know that. We don't. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes the agent makes some calls and is like, "Hey, we're angling for you." We won't.
But I think part of the reason why I feel like it's not too much on him is because there's a certain pedigree and certain expectation of you when you are drafted that high, albeit the role itself didn't come into fruition last season the way that some might have thought because of his draft status. But now you had your rookie year, not even a redshirt year, because he got time to play with the Rockets. He got time to play with the G. Like, he's had some time here. But now, like, dog, you're going to your second year. You were a third-round draft pick. Now we're going to need you to perform like a top 3 draft pick this upcoming year. And, like, yes, it's a lot, but you were drafted into a situation, too, where you're not coming into a team where we expect to be rebuilding for a couple of years and we're trying to find the place. Like, no, he walked into a situation where, like you said, it's championships. Like, as soon as Udoka got there, like, it was all about that. Like, the first year with VanVleet, they won, I think, 41 games. And it was like, people were like, impressive. Like, you guys jumped from 20 something wins up to 41. And they were all like, not good enough, not enough, need to be better. And I was like, dang, what? But then you see them last year and you see what they do. And it's like, I understand now. In this upcoming year, regardless of what the Thunder did, regardless of the offseason Denver had, Houston has expectations, and Reed is going to have to play a big role in achieving them.
I thought of some other young players that have a lot of pressure. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama, just the pressure. Like, I have him as a top 5 player in the Locked On Top 100. There's pressure to lead his team to get into the play-ins, like actually play well. Another one I thought of was Derek Queen with the Pelicans. After that trade, like they're
traded for like that, yeah.
There's a lot of pressure to, like, all right, now you've got to, like, show us something, right? Like, prove me right. I'm Joe Dumars, and I'm like, I'm holding both of my phones, and I'm like, hey, please prove me right on both of these lines, right? Both the landlines.
Not both the phones, but to that point, yeah, that's fair. That's fair because they did give a lot for Queen, and that is still one of those trades where I don't know exactly what the Pelicans were thinking for that one. Being on the Bucks, who was also part of that draft pick swap, when I was like, the Pelicans really gave that up? Interesting. Didn't expect it.
I'll throw is Podziemski still young? Do we still count him? That's just always pressure if you're playing with Draymond, Steph, and Jimmy Butler.
There's an innate pressure built on being part of the Warriors, which, again, like being on the Rockets here, part of the pressure comes from the fact it's a team that has championship aspirations. So I don't know if I put Pods up there, though. Like, I think he's still kind of under the radar here.
The 2 guards in Minnesota, either Dillingham or Terrence Shannon, maybe there's some pressure on them to fill a spot. They're in the same spot that Reed Sheppard was like 24 hours ago. Like, hey, we need you to fill a rotation spot. And like, all of a sudden, I don't know. Like, I guess if Anthony Edwards, well, like, no, that wouldn't even work. Interesting. So much pressure on Reed Sheppard. I think it's too much for him, but he has got to step up now. He's being pushed into this role. Amen Thompson for sure. Go check out Locked On Rockets for more on this. Let's talk about Let's play Count It Up. We count on the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. Patrick Beverley and Trae Young had the beef that we didn't know that we needed. We'll talk about that and more coming up. Locked on NBA Game Night continues. Today's episode of Locked on NBA Game Night is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds you can use to check it out and see what is out there and what is available. We've got all kinds of NFL stuff going on right now. You've got, let's see, what's some of the odds. Actually, I'm bringing you back in. Camille, because we're going to talk about your Packers.
Do we have to after this week? You couldn't bring me in last week, but talk about
because it's Packers Cowboys. It's Packers Cowboys. It is Wisconsin versus Texas. Do you know the spread?
I would guess Packers 4.5.
6.5. Cowboys are at home. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that because the Cowboys, man, I've watched all
and they got
the
some
games.
Injuries too now.
This is tough. Yeah, with the CeeDee Lamb being out for that game, that's going to be tough. But go check it out. See what you can get on FanDuel. See if those lines change at all. And if you're ready to put down $5 right now and you win, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. It's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Please gamble responsibly.
Big chicken, baby.
I think a lot. I'm very smart.
Take that for that.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up.
It's Count It Up, where we count on the most interesting, fun things in the NBA this week. Trae Young and Patrick Beverley are in a feud started by Patrick Beverley, calling him out over his defense. There are some tweets back and forth. Then all of a sudden, Patrick Beverley went on this rant about how terrible Trae Young was as a player, and nobody wants to play with you in Atlanta. They all want to leave. Everybody hates you. You're a coach killer down there. And then Trae Young shot back with an 11-minute video takedown, 1v1 with the camera. Yep. Just like him, a desk and a podcast mic. Just like going at Patrick Beverley. My question is,
count it up.
Whose side are you on?
Oh man, we had some fantastic time with Pat Bev here in Milwaukee for about 3 months there. That first round exit to the Pacers that he was a part of, it was all very lovely, very lovely. Have nothing good to say about Patrick Beverley, but this is one of those ones where not necessarily with anyone, I'm just kind of being the nosy neighbor, kind of like, well, keep talking, like. What more do you have to say? But if I had to pick one or the other, probably I'll go with Trae. Of just being like, come on, dog. Like some of the things you're saying about me, like whoever you're hearing this from, do they have a motivation? What's behind it? You can look at what I've done on the court here. Like, yes, people probably expected more from Trae Young, but Trae Young has still accomplished some things that other players haven't.
Listen, I know I cover the Dallas Mavericks. I know we're supposed to be enemies with Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah. And maybe not so much anymore after the trade that we don't dare speak of anymore. Trae Young is in the right on this. This is Trae Young. He is the better player.
He is.
He is the one that has accomplished more in his career. And he is the one that has honestly accomplished like what you would expect a player of where he was drafted to accomplish at this point, right? 4-time All-Star, been an All-NBA player, made a conference finals. Like Damian Lillard has like not done much more than that in his career. Has had more playoff moments, I'll say, but like Trae Young has done a ton. He averages 25 points and about 10 assists for his career.
Yeah. Right
now, Patrick Beverley's not sniffing either of those numbers. Like, how many times in a game do you think Patrick Beverley's had 25 points and 10 assists?
Like 4 times.
I need to look this up now because I need to know.
But here, I will say this though.
When you're the retired player and you come out of nowhere, out of left field, and go after the player that is better than you right now, I'm always going to side with the player that like Patrick Beverley's punching up, right?
He is. But one thing I'll say for Pat Bev and other role players too, like when you are a role player, like there might be some things that you can do more of, but you're just not asked to do it. I'm not trying to say that if Pat Bev was given a leash, he would be Trae Young, because he would not. He would not. I'm just saying, I think there's a little bit more in Pat Bev's bag than he normally gets credit for. That said, still not on Trae Young's level, even with that being said.
We have one game of 26 points and 9 assists.
Just one in this entire.
Yeah. One of 20 points and 10 assists. No, two of 20 points and 10 assists.
Okay.
One of them was with Milwaukee. At the Celtics, 20 points, 10 assists.
That's why I guess at least
10 rebounds. 10 rebounds. Oh, didn't even get this 3 assists that day. Poor Pat Bev. Bam Adebayo surprised his girlfriend Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces of the WNBA with her 4th WNBA MVP trophy. It looked like it was after a practice, and Kathy Engelbert of the commissioner of the WNBA came in with him, and they surprised her. It was this great moment. The video is amazing. Paige Beckers also got surprised by her award, the Rookie of the Year, at the Jennifer Hudson show. They do that line where you have all the staff members of each, and they do this song, and they like sing, and Paige Beckers was dancing, and she didn't know anything was going to happen. All of a sudden, Kathy comes out with the trophy, and Paige is like, "Oh, you got me. I did not expect this here." My question is,
Count it up.
should we do this for the NBA?
Absolutely. This was way more fun.
Should they have surprise attack trophies instead of like the planned or the trophy ceremony or anything like that, or the TNT, like, hey, we were going to announce this trophy before one of the games? Like, I think surprise attack viral type moments is how they should do it. And how should they do it?
Hold on. Well, first of all, they should definitely do this, especially since Adam Silver said this is a highlight league. That's a highlight right there. That's another highlight right there for you, Adam. It's right there. But no, I think that the surprise attacks through practices, or if the player has a certain interest, like trying to find a way to do that in there, because like even for Paige, like to get Beckers that award, like they had to figure out like, okay, she's going to be on this show on this time, which is within the week that we're trying to announce these awards. So there's some planning in the background.
You don't think that they called the Jennifer Hudson show like, hey, let's put Paige Beckers on
let's try to get the date around here.
Jennifer Hudson's like, I would love some guests. Like, can we get I'm one of like 8 million talk shows right now.
Like come on now. But yeah, let's do that. And then what the NBA should do after that, after the surprise attack, have like the first game that they play in, then have like the big crowd participation part of it.
I've got some ideas.
Well, let's hear him.
Luka Doncic wins MVP with the Lakers.
Okay.
He goes on Hot Ones with Sean Evans. He's in the middle of his Hot Ones wings, and Adam Silver comes out with the MVP trophy.
Now that might not be the best time to do that when you're sweating and snotting and cussing all over the place to get your trophy.
Just like grease, just grease and sauce all over the trophy.
That's glass. It's just smudge.
The fingerprint. Can we get Victor Wembanyama playing chess in the park with somebody, and just all of a sudden, like the guy who he's playing chess against, like just an old guy, just like a plant from the NBA, right? Has a backpack, and all of a sudden pulls out the Defensive Player of the Year trophy from the backpack and puts it right on the table. And
then the cameras come out, everybody like, he's like, wait, what? And then everybody comes out. See, at first I thought you're gonna be even more dramatic. Like the guy playing chess is like hooded, and then he throws off the hood, kind of like Vince McMahon did in the 90s. Like, it was me all along. And it's really Adam Silver who he's playing chess against, and then he has the award.
This is my favorite one. Cooper Flag.
Okay.
In Dallas, wins Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Post Malone concert. In Dallas, Post Malone is a Dallas guy. He comes up on stage. Cooper Flag thinks he's just gonna like show up and, hey, I'm gonna hang out with Post Malone. All of a sudden, Adam Silver comes from the other side of the stage and gives him his Rookie of the Year right in front of the crowd for the Post Malone concert.
See, I like that one too. All those are far better than the hot ones. Like we can't have the wings. I'm still thinking about that trophy being smudged like that. That'll be your viral highlight moment for
Lucas drinking milk. He's just like throwing back milk.
And then it's like in the background while he actually knocks it over trying to go for the milk because the wing was too hot. You can't do that.
All right, last one. Last one here. According to an interview, Cooper Flag's mother set a limit of $180,000 for his first car purchase. He's already signed NIL deals and contracts and all that worth $28 million from New Balance, Fanatics. I had somebody in my text line text me and said, Cooper Flag, all he posts about is endorsement deals. Yeah, he's getting the bag right now. He's absolutely doing what he's supposed to be doing. His mom said, do not buy a Bugatti right away when she mentioned that he's excited to get his own vehicle. Later, when they played a money matchup portion of the interview, they were asked to give a specific number, and his mom wrote $180,000 as the maximum that she thinks Cooper should spend on a car. Cooper Flag's answer was $200,000, so they weren't very far off. My question is, should I call Child Protective Services? Because this is child abuse to limit your son to $180,000. He should be allowed to have whatever he wants.
No. That's funny though, but I love that. Also, that they were so close on that initial number, like 20 racks off, which to me is quite a bit of money.
That is a car.
It's
20 racks is a car.
You might get 2 used cars for 20. Well, maybe not in this economy.
Not a used car.
Not in this economy. Not in this economy. A couple years ago, 10 years ago, you could have, but no.
He drives the car out on stage on the Post Malone car. He drives the Bugatti out.
His mom is someone because she knows the awards happening.
His mom gives him the trophy. His mom is in the driver's seat of the car.
Of the
she gets driven out and through the. Do they have sunroofs? This is how far removed I am from having.
My price range.
They open the window and she just holds the Rookie of the Year trophy out the window.
Or they drive it slow enough so she's sitting out the window and she's just holding the award like this. And they need the NBA. Call us. We have some ideas on how you can do this for all the viral moments that you want to have. Check in with Locked On NBA. We got you.
Oh man, let us know which viral moment should happen for the NBA awards, and let us know what you think about the Houston Rockets. Go listen to Locked On Rockets for more on that. Go listen to Locked On Bucks for more on. I don't know. What you guys talking about Kyle Kuzma right now and like how much?
We actually were just talking about Kyle Kuzma. You're actually right.
When in Milwaukee, we're talking all about Cooper Flagg, and we're ranking the position groups this week. So we just talked about the bigs. The Mavs have 3 top 30 bigs in the NBA. So go listen to Locked On Mavs when we talk about that. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night. Go check out Locked On NBA Daily with Wes, Hayes, and Matt later today. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA Game Night.